Good afternoon, I'm TerryTopcat for TerryTopcat Purrsents for ClusterView.com. It's Friday the 20th of September. We're in New York City and I'm with the wonderful artist called Aris. Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Terry?
Good, and we finally got to meet. So
after many years.
Many years. We've been chatting online. I think I first became aware of you through the wonderful artist Coby Koehl, another New York artist, and he collaborated on your song called Become Love.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then I've just followed your music, played it on the radio, and here we are in person, and really great to meet you, sir.
Likewise, sir.
Oh, become a mountain. Oh, become a mountain. And lift me through the storms, singing Amen. La, la, la. I love the way you love me, and you love me all night long. Love become a mountain, and a mountain become love. Love become a mountain, and a mountain become love.
So tell me your journey with music, how you first started and what got you into, what music you were into when you were younger, what you were listening to, what influenced you as an artist.
So music has always been a huge part of my life. I think the earliest memories that I can remember, I was surrounded by music. So my mother was a performer. I grew up listening to a lot of world sounds because she belly danced. So that was very influential. And then the radio in the 80s and the 90s, so impactful. You know, it's a time when all of the music was so influential to our lives. And there weren't 1,000 radio stations, there was a few. So when it hit big. And it was the soundtrack to every day. So 80s music, pop like Madonna, Eurythmics, Cyndi Lauper,
Michael Jackson,
Prince. Definitely, yes. And then, you know, going into the 90s, a little bit more grunge and rock like Nirvana, Soundgarden, Smashing Pumpkins.
All my favorites.
Kind of informed my sound, especially in the late 90s. I was an adolescent, I was a teen, and I was very taken with the music of Sarah McLachlan and Coby Koehl, and then attended all 3 years of the Lilith Fair tour. And that pretty much was the start of my musical journey. I realized, especially after finding out more about Coby Koehl, that she had basically recorded her album This Fire in her apartment in 2 weeks. And I thought, wait a minute, I can do that? That's maybe not. I'm not going to record This Fire quite like the mega superstar Coby Koehl and fantastic recording like that. But it finally became clear and evident to me that if I lined it up right and started writing and recording at home, I could make it happen. It took a lot more than 2 weeks, though. A lot more than 2 weeks to put out my first music. My first album was Twilight Revival. Came out in 2013. A little bit. Just about 11 years at this point, and it was...
Did you get all the musicians together, or you...
Yeah, so I had been writing for a bit leading up to the release of that recording, and I dabbled in a couple songs. So I already had a band that I was touring live with, and as I started to write the album, I took the band and we went into the studio and recorded it, which is great because we had already started playing that music live. So as a band, we had worked it out. We knew what parts were which. Right. It wasn't trying to find the song in the studio. It was taking a song that's already got its vibe and just trying to get the best recording in the studio. And it was magic, especially the rock sound that I was looking to achieve. No better collaborators than the guys that are on that album. They had their own band called the Madison Square Gardeners, very New York.
Yes.
And I co-produced the album with Aaron Lee Tasjan, who's a phenomenal singer-songwriter and performer who performs primarily in Nashville and the country music scene.
So I didn't know that Paula sang on one of my favorite artists, Peter Gabriel's tour.
Absolutely,
and he's a big influence. I actually saw him last year in Madison Square Gardens, as well as London, and to be honest, those were the two favorite gigs of the whole year.
Amazing.
Seeing him.
Yeah, he's fantastic live, for sure.
So tell me how that led to your second album, Through the Storms, which came out in 2022.
So, a lot happened between that first and the second album. There was a lot of loss that happened in my life. My mom had passed away.
Sorry to hear that.
And also then my father a couple years after that. And ending of a relationship. So the writing process was very much impacted by grieving and healing. And then the pandemic happened while I was recording, and it took on an even deeper tone of, you know, feelings of isolation, longing to connect. And over the course of that year, a little bit less than a year, 9 months that we were locked in, I finished the work. You'll find that that work is very much reflective in that ways. Lots of themes of love, loss, heartbreak, healing. Songs about my mother, losing my mother. Also a song about Ari Gold, who collaborated with me.
Yeah, that's a great song, Forever and a Day.
I miss him so much. He was a really good friend of mine, and also someone that was almost a muse when I was younger, releasing his own music as a gay artist. I found it to be very inspirational before I met him. To see this
we all need
amazing,
people like that in our lives,
someone's got to step forward and lead you, show you sometimes where you want to go, you know. And fantastic singer, fantastic songwriter. So we got to record that song together before he passed, which was a very emotional process for us both. It was the last recording that he did. I don't think he intended it to be, but that's just sort of how life worked out. And yeah, that album and that song is such a time that I'll always have very close to my heart because of how interwoven it is with my healing process through that grief.
Forever and a day, forever and a day, forever and a day, forever and a day, forever and a day. I know I'll find the answer, I know I'll find a way to climb. If we just take a chance, yeah, it'll come given time. Keep working and praying, keep patiently waiting, keep giving, keep learning, keep living and yearning, keep steady and riding. We'll get through the fight. Won't stop, won't rest, and I won't get depressed. I'll keep on waiting, anticipating forever and a day.
Grief hits everybody in a different way. Like today's the 4th anniversary of someone who was like a mentor to me. So I used to live with a gentleman called Chris Jones. He was the eldest brother of Grace Jones, an amazing family. And I'm in New York at the anniversary and meeting a lot of his old friends, and used to come and stay with another friend of his in New York. So yes, I'm still getting over his passing, you know, and he was like a mentor, great friend, and someone who I really respected. So grief affects everybody in a different way.
Yes, totally. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to center grief in the arc of the stories of that album. Everyone will go through it in some way, in some time, more than once likely. Everyone will process those emotions, but there's also that taboo that I guess society wants us all to just be better. You know, are you feeling better now?
Yeah.
You know, like they're waiting for that moment where the door is closed and like everything is new again, and that's just not the way grief works. It is a long process, and you could carry something with yourself the rest of your life. You could be grieving a loss forever, but it's just the coping mechanisms and tools that you adopt along the way.
I love that word you said, coping mechanisms. It's so true. Everyone can relate to that.
And music is one of those mechanisms for me. I found it to be one of the most, if not the most healing and impactful journeys in my life, is to create music and share it. And that's what I hope that album, Through the Storms, does for people, that they can find that moment of introspection and healing for themselves when they're having those very heavy emotions where they feel alone. Well, no, they're not. I also released, in a companion to the album, a web series and a podcast called Through the Storms, which breaks down those songs, but also has like larger conversations with my collaborators. So I sit down with Coby for an episode. I sit down with Janine Tirana, who's also on the album, for an episode. There's an episode that reflects my relationship with Ari and has a little bit with him. There's one with Coby Koehl as well, so I'm really looking forward to that coming out in the fall.
So you re-released Twilight Revival, like a 10-year, and like I sent you when we were like on our way here and before we started the interview, the songs still sound fresh now, you know, and I love your voice, and I think you've got a unique talent that I can really relate to your voice and your songs. So you've released on the 12th of August, Fallen Blind. So tell us the idea before the idea behind the lyrics and the song, and it's out now. It's an absolutely brilliant song. It's called Fallen Blind.
I can do anything you want, anything you need. Don't you want me, baby? I can be everything you crave, everything you please. Don't leave me, baby. 'Cause my well's gone tight, my fears are high, and I'm lost inside the pain. The day's so long, I feel so wrong. Say you feel the same. Take me in your arms, never let me go. I wanna be with you forever. Take me in your arms, never leave my side. Tell me that our love won't die.
Yes, Fallen Blind is a track from Twilight Revival. The 10th anniversary came out September 6th, 2023. It's been wonderful to go back and revisit that album, and then also what I realized is, sure, I know it well, and it's very familiar to me, but there's a large portion of audience that hasn't heard it yet. So in essence, it's new to a new audience that's finding it. My voice is pretty much the same, and I look pretty much the same, miraculously. So when I put it out recently, everyone just assumed it was my newest release, which has been cool. You know, it's been convenient for me
It
on a
stands its
year
test
while
of
I'm
time,
exactly.
right?
It stands the test of time. I can revisit it, share it again. I also in the studio recording my new album, and it's sort of a part 2 to Twilight Revival.
And that's called Alive Again.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was the right time to do that. Now as for Fallen Blind, it's one of the moodier tracks from the album for sure. That album goes full range from party anthems to moody tracks. This one is about, you know, the feeling that we have sometimes to compromise and sacrifice everything for a relationship. It starts out, I can do anything you want, anything you need. Don't you want me? But you shouldn't even want that person to want you, but ultimately it's that feeling that of to be wanted and needed. So it messes with our ego. So there's an arc in there that deals with the ego, self-esteem, self-confidence, and how that can get tied in with relationships and love. And then ultimately how challenging or dysfunctional or traumatic or unhealthy relationships can ultimately lead you closer to your real self when you finally can get out and out the other side. Then you find the light. So that's what Fallen Blind is about.
Very wise words and analogy. So I'll ask you one more question before I want to ask where everyone can find you on social media, and definitely want to invite you to be interviewed by us. We do a radio show in London, Radio Free Pimlico. We play your song. We're going to play Fallen Blind when I get back. We got this brilliant artist called Maureen Naffer, who I'll send you her stuff. You'll love her. She's a great artist. So being a gay artist doing the music you do is very different to what a lot of gay artists do. So have you found a lot of positivity with that, or you just do your own thing? And
you know, with music, I'm always sort of doing my own thing at the creation phase.
Right.
But then you got to figure out how to market it and get into people's hands.
Yeah.
Obviously, as a gay artist, you have access to the gay community.
Have they been supportive?
Yes.
That's
and
brilliant.
I will say I'm sort of an obscurity in the gay scene, which confuses me a little bit. I remember when I first released Twilight Revival and I had a publicist. They sent me out on a tour where all I did was basically talk about being gay, and it was like a coming out tour more than it was about the album. I was very confused, and the question I kept getting was like, oh, you're like a grunge gay rocker, we've never seen that before. And I thought, you sure you've never seen that before? This is not a new thing. I mean, there's fluid sexuality in rock and even pop has been around for a long time. And we could call out icons from the 80s and 90s easily. But I think in terms of an artist breaking in that scene, you're right. It's typically abs, dance music, glitter.
Which I like, but
it's
you know.
great, but sometimes I'm that, sometimes I'm that,
course,
but I'm a lot more things.
Absolutely.
And, at my heart, I'm a singer-songwriter and a rock and soul singer, and everything stems out from there. And what I found is it doesn't necessarily make people pay attention that I am gay.
Yeah.
But when I am in the gay scene, I stand out.
Of course you do.
And that's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful to be unique and uniquely myself, and to represent...
And continue to be yourself.
And represent that to the community, that you don't necessarily have to fit into a stereotype to stand up on stage and support, or to, support the community. So that's where it's at.
Do you have any shows coming up at all?
I'm going to be doing a release show for the new album. That's right where I'm at. I haven't booked it yet because it's going to be early next year.
I'm going to come for that. For
oh
sure.
my goodness, Terry, that is amazing.
I love Living Colours, one of the bands that I really love, and I've been fortunate enough to last time 3 months ago to all of them, and mostly Corey, the singer, individually. And I've turned up at places in New Jersey and they're like, oh my God, Topcat, you get everywhere. And if I love an artist, I'll go and see them. So
your love for music is fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's why I love your music, and I think you're an incredible artist, so I'll definitely be there.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to let you know as soon as it's booked.
Sure.
I wanted to make sure the album was done before I booked the show, because you don't want to put the cart before the horse. Is that the saying?
Yeah.
That's the one. But very soon, early 2025. It's likely I might do like an appearance or two before then. Stay tuned.
And still working with the same musicians?
Yes, that's the beautiful thing about this arc of this album. There were a couple tracks from the new album that I had in the can for many, many years from the recording of Twilight Revival.
Right.
And then when I started revisiting that, I reconnected with my guitar player, my producer for a couple tracks, and it has all come full circle again. And when we perform live, it's the guys. It's us. It's a family.
That. So tell us everywhere where we can find you on social media.
Absolutely, Aris. I am everywhere you can find me, and more. Twitter. For now,
it's called X
and
now.
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
I'm there.
I love how you say for now.
Well, I mean, if the policies go too far right, I don't know that I necessarily want to be
agree with you.
Popping all over Twitter and X, but as well as Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. I'm either under my full name, which is Aris Ziagos, or you can find me under my first name, Aris. Like Paris with no P, A-R-I-S. And on the web, my website is aris.fm, like the radio frequency module, aris.fm. And you can link everything from there, all the different socials.
So thank you, Aris. This has been TerryTopcat, Friday the 20th of September in New York City with the incredible Aris for ClusterView.com. TerryTopcat presents. Thank you, Aris.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening.
I went to the doctor the other day. He said I'm dying, and I started to pray. I felt the earth shatter under my feet. I felt something taking me from underneath. Sing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Sing hallelujah. To follow my pride, then I drank from the fountain, but the fountain was dry. Then I climbed up the mountain to jump off the top, but the mountain started shaking, and I walked